Hello children, welcome to my lecture. Today we are going to do poetry section 2.5, that is Nose versus Eye, written by William Cowper, where William Cowper criticized the judgment of the court and was of the opinion that thought they were following the word of the law. They had lost sight of the spirit in which they were written, and as such he notes that they have left behind all reason and common sense. So in this poem Nose versus Eyes, there are 8 stanzas and it is a satirical poem. Here poet tried to put a satire or try to criticize the law system, or we can say try to criticize on judgment of law system. In this poem there were 4 characters are eyes, nose, tongue and ear. Here eyes and nose, both are 2 parties, those are fighting for the respect. Tongue is a lawyer and ear is the judge. Nose is fighting with the eyes for the purpose of the respect or for the right of the respect, where this tongue is a lawyer and ear is a judge. Okay, now we will start the icebreakers. So before starting the icebreakers of 2.5 Nose versus Eyes, we have to come to know what we studied in our last lecture. In our last lecture we studied about the title of the poem, about the writer, then I given the meanings, then already I explained regarding the character, then afterwards I given the line by line explanation of the poem. And now we are going to do the icebreaker of this poem. Let's start. See, icebreakers. First question: complete the wave with the help of the adjective used to describe eyes and nose. In all respect, 2 are done for you. Means 2 done for you, and we have to do remaining parts. So here is what given. First activity given eyes, regarding the eyes. So eyes is what? It is beautiful. Eyes, it is big, it is deep, and it is already given discerning, and already I given it is inquisitive, it is doe eyes. And next is we have to write about the nose. See, nose is what? Someone's nose is long, someone's sharp, someone's pointed, someone's nose is wide also. Next question: given below are some word from the legal terminology used in court affair. Discuss and complete the table accordingly. So here given first number, serial number given 1 to 10, next column given legal terminology, and here description. So we have to write regarding all things. First one already done. First one is affidavit. Regarding affidavit, description is given: a written statement confirmed by oath or affirmation for use as evidence in court. Second one is argument: a set of legal reason based on status, regulations, case proceeding, legal text, and the reasoning for a particular case. A presentation of the facts or evidence and the conclusions that may be drawn from them. I might add convincing a judge or jury to deliver the verdict in favor of the lawyer's client. So this is the description regarding the argument. Next is consent. So consent description is voluntarily accepting or agreeing with another person's statement or proposal. And fourth one is, that is counsel. It is the description regarding counsel given. See, regarding counsel: a person of authority similar to a lawyer who deal with various legal issues and provides legal advice. Now fifth one, that is judgment. Regarding description is an official decision made by the court that determines the right and obligations of the parties involved. Now sixth one, that is trial. A legal examination of an issue by a court or similar authority in order to determine the rights of the parties involved based on the evidence presented by them. Now seventh one, that is verdict. Regarding verdict description is given: the official decision or findings made by the court regarding the issues is specific in a trial. Now eighth one, that is contempt of court. Regarding the description is an offense that involves any form of disrespectful behavior towards the court of law, its official or its regulations, and that regards the dignity of court. Now ninth one is notice. Regarding the description is a legal notification or warning, usually in written it is given. So aim to make the party aware of legal processes that affects their rights or duties. Now last one, that is 10th one, that is stay order. The stay order's description is, it is a court order to temporarily suspend the execution of a court judgment. So next question is, name the 5 sensory organs and provide phrases, idioms, proverbs related to them. One is given for you. It is related with ear given, to turn a deaf ear. So we will do the next. Next is nose. Have one's nose in the air. Keep one's nose out of something means, regarding something means rub or nose in it. Next one is eyes. A bird's eyes view, apple of one's eye. Turn a blind eyes. An eyes for an eye makes the whole world blind. Fourth one, regarding the tongue, that is tongue tie, to be on the tip of one's tongue, a slip of the tongue. Next is, the tongue can paint what the eyes can't see. Then fifth one is skin. Get under someone's skin. Thick skinned or beauty is only skin deep. After completing the icebreaker of this poem, let's start the figures. See, open your textbook, page number 88, line number 1. First para, first line. Between the nose and eyes, a stench contains a rose. So this poetic line belongs to the figure of speech inversion. So first of all, we have to come to know what is the definition of inversion figure of speech. When in poetic line, the words are not arranged in proper order, then that poetic line is belong to the figure of speech inversion. So here also given definition, the word in the line have been rearranged for poetic effect. Rearrange means not arranged in a proper order. So that's why this line belongs to the figure of speech inversion. So correct order should be what? It is a stench contains a rose between nose and eyes. See, next one, the spectacle set them unhappily wrong. So here what? This line is belongs to the figure of speech alliteration. Why? Because the sound of letter S has been repeated in the same line to give the poetic effect. If any alphabet sound is repeated more than one time in the same line, then that line belongs to the figure of speech alliteration. Next one, the point in dispute was, as all the world knows. So this poetic line is belong to the figure of speech consonant. So consonant is which figure of speech? When in a poetic line, the sound of consonant is repeated more than one time, then that poetic line belong to the figure of speech consonants. Here the sound of consonant Z is repeated in the same line to give the poetic. Next, to which the said spectacle ought to belong. First para, last line. This line also belong to the figure of speech alliteration. Here the sound of letter S is repeated, and that's why this line belong to the figure of speech alliteration. Next one, with a great deal of skill and a week full of learning. This line also first of all belong to the figure of speech alliteration. Reason is the sound of letter W has been repeated in the same line to give the poetic effect. And same line belongs to the next figure of speech, that is consonants. Why? Because here the sound of consonant L has been repeated more than one time. That's why this line belongs to the figure of speech consonant. And same line belongs to the next figure of speech, that is synonym. So first of all, we have to come to know what is the definition of figure of speech synonym. When in a poetic line, one part रिप्रेजेंट द होल पार्ट. जब भी किसी पोइटिक लाइन में वन पार्ट दिया गया हो और वो होल पार्ट को रिप्रेजेंट करता है, तो वो पोइटिक लाइन फिगर ऑफ स्पीच सिनेडॉग को बिलोंग करती है. When one part represent the whole part in a poetic line, then that poetic line is belong to the figure of speech synecdoche. So see here, the big one, it is one part and it represent the lawyer's whole part, and that's why this line is belong to the figure of speech synecdoche. See, The weak represent the lawyer, as it is the lawyer who is full of learning and not the weak. This line is belong to the figure of speech senator. Next one. So famed for his talent is nicely discerning. This line belongs to the figure of speech alliteration. So here the sound of letter F is repeated in the same line. That's why this line belongs to the figure of speech alliteration. Next one. While Chief Baron Ear said to balance the law, so famed for his talent is nicely discerning. This line belongs to the figure of speech inversion. Why? Because the words are not arranged in a proper order to give the poetic effect, and that's why this line belongs to the figure of speech inversion. The correct order should be, while Chief Baron Ear, famed for his talent, is nicely discerning, set to balance the law. Next one. That the nose has had spectacles always in wear. This line also belongs to the figure of speech alliteration. Why? Because here the sound of letter H has been repeated more than one time to give the poetic effect, and that's why this line belongs to the figure of speech alliteration. Next given, which amounts to possession, time out of mind. This line also belongs to the figure of speech alliteration. Here also the sound of letter T has been repeated more than one time to give the poetic effect, and that's why this line belongs to the figure of speech alliteration. Next one. They are made with a straddle as wide as the ridge of the nose. This line belongs to the figure of speech simile. So what is the definition of simile? When the two things is directly compared with each other in a poetic line, then that line belongs to the figure of speech simile. Sign क्या है? As का साइन रहेगा या तो so as का साइन रहेगा. So this type of word when we get in a poetic line, then that line belongs to the figure of speech simile. See, as दिया, as wide as. So here given reason, there is direct comparison between the straddle of the spectacles and the ridge of the nose, though the use of the word as wide as, and that's why this line belongs to the figure of speech simile. Next one. Designed to sit close to it, just like a saddle. So this line first of all belongs to the figure of speech alliteration. Why? Because here the sound of letter S has been repeated more than one time. That's why this line belongs to the figure of speech alliteration. This line again belongs to the figure of speech simile. So what is the definition of simile? Already I told, the direct comparison between two things is a simile figure of speech. So here reason also given. There is a direct comparison between the close fitting design of the spectacles and that of a saddle on a horse through the use of the word like. See here, like use, just like it. So that's why this line belongs to the figure of speech simile. Same line. Next figure of speech belong, that is consonant. Why? Because here consonant sound T is repeated more than one time to give the poetic effect. That's why this line belong to the figure of speech consonants. Next one. Again would your lordship a moment suppose. This line belong to the figure of speech inversion. Why? Because the words are not arranged in the proper order to give the poetic effect, and correct order should be again would your lordship suppose a moment. Next one. T is, we can read this is a case that has happened and maybe again. This line belongs to the figure of speech alliteration. Why? Because the sound of letter H has been repeated in the same line to give the poetic effect. Next one. That the visage or countenance has not a nose. This line belongs to the figure of speech consonants. Why? The consonant sound S has been repeated more than one time to give the poetic effect, and that's why this line belongs to the figure of speech consonant. Same line belongs to the figure of speech tautology. So what? When two same meaning words are used in the same line, then that poetic line belongs to the figure of speech tautology. तो क्या है tautology? क्या है? जब जो है दो वर्ड जो कि सेम मीनिंग देने वाले हैं, वो अगर एक ही लाइन में, एक ही पोइटिक लाइन में यूज होते हैं, तो वह पोइटिक लाइन टैटोलॉजी फिगर ऑफ स्पीच से बिलोंग करती है. सी द वर्ड विसेस एंड कंटेनेंस हैव द सेम मीनिंग, दैट इज फेस, एंड दैट्स व्हाई दिस लाइन बिलोंग टू द फिगर ऑफ स्पीच टैटोलॉजी. Next is pray who would or who could wear spectacle then. First of all, this line belong to the figure of speech alliteration. Why? Because the sound of letter W has been repeated more than one time to give the poetic effect. and that's why this line belongs to the figure of speech alliteration. Same line belongs to the next figure of speech, that is what? Repetition. Why? What is the definition of repetition? When one word, any one word, is repeated more than one time in same poetic line, then that line belongs to the figure of speech repetition. So here see, who and who, this word is repeated more than one time, and that's why this line belongs to the figure of speech repetition. And here given the word who has been repeated in the line to emphasize his argument, and that's why this line belongs to the figure of speech repetition. Same line belongs to the next figure of speech, that is interrogation. When in a poetic line, question should be asked but answer should not over there, so then that line is belong to the figure of speech interrogation. So here reason given, the question has been asked to make a point and an answer is not expected. So that's why this line belongs to the figure of speech interrogation. Next one, on the whole it appears and my argument shows. This line belongs to the figure of speech tautology. Already I told, when two words giving the same meaning, then that line belongs to the figure of speech tautology. When in one poetic line two words give same meaning, so that line belongs to the figure of speech tautology. See, the word appears and shows. See here given, appear and shows, they have the same meaning. See reason also given. The words appears and shows have the same meaning and are used to make the lawyer's argument more convincing, and that's why this line belongs to the figure of speech tautology. Next one, with reasoning the court will never condemn, belongs to the figure of speech alliteration. The sound of letter W has been repeated in the same line to give the poetic effect, and that's why this line belongs to the figure of speech alliteration. Next one, that the spectacles plainly were made for the nose. This line belongs to the figure of speech inversion. Why? Because the words are not arranged in a proper order, that's why this line belongs to the figure of speech inversion. And correct order is that the spectacles were plainly made for the nose. Next one, and the nose was as plainly intended for them. This line belongs to the figure of speech consonant. Reason, the sound of consonant Z is repeated in the same line to give the poetic effect, that's why this line belongs to the figure of speech consonance. Next is given, then shifting his side as a lawyer knows how. This line also belongs to the figure of speech consonants. Reason given, the sound of consonant Z is repeated more than one time, that's why this line belongs to the figure of speech consonant. Next one, but what were his argument few people knows. This line belongs to the figure of speech inversion. Reason is the words are not arranged in a proper order to give the poetic effect. So here also reason given, the word in the line have been rearranged for poetic effect. Correct order should be, but few people know what his argument were. Same line belongs to the next figure of speech, that is alliteration. Why? Reason is given, the sound of letter W has been repeated more than one time to give the poetic effect, that's why this line belongs to the figure of speech alliteration. Next one, for the court did not think they were equally wise. This line also belongs to the figure of speech alliteration. Reason given, the sound of letter T and W has been repeated more than one time to give the poetic effect, that's why this line belongs to the figure of speech alliteration. Next one, so his lordship decreed with a grave solemn tone. This line belongs to the figure of speech tautology. Why? Because here two words give the same meaning. They are what? Grave and solemn. Grave and solemn have the same meaning. Two same meaning words are used in the same line to give the poetic effect, that's why this line belongs to the figure of speech tautology. So here reason given, the word grave and solemn have the same meaning and are used to emphasize the serious expression of the ear as the verdict was delivered. Next one, by daylight or candlelight eyes should be shut. This line belongs to the first of all figure of speech alliteration. Reason given, the sound of letter SH has been repeated more than one time, and that's why this line belongs to the figure of speech alliteration. And same line belongs to the next figure of speech, that is consonants. Reason given, the sound of consonant T has been repeated more than one time to give the poetic effect, and that's why this line belongs to the figure of speech consonance. Same line belongs to the next figure of speech, that is the antithesis. What is the definition of antithesis? When two opposite ideas are used in the same line, then that poetic line belongs to the figure of speech antithesis. So a reason given, two opposite ideas, daylight and candlelight. Candlelight means when we light the candle, night time. So here daylight and candlelight have been used in the same line to mean always, means this daylight and candlelight is what? Opposite ideas, and that's why this line belongs to the figure of speech antithesis. Now next question, identify the type of imagery used in the extract. So some examples here, imagery. See, following are the examples of imagery from the extract. First one, so Tongue was the lawyer and argued the cause. So in this line, what is the, first of all we have to come to know what is the imagery. Imagery means what? When in a poetic line we can use the word some imagery, images mean the things we given some imagination of, just like we here given the tongue, he is as a lawyer. So same way this type of images we create, so that's why that line is belongs to the word imagery. So we can say this type of line belongs to the imagery. See, so Tongue was the lawyer and argued the cause. The above line what create? It create a vivid image of the tongue as the lawyer arguing his case in court and add to the humorous effect. Next line, while Chief Baron Ear said to balance the laws. So this line also create a vivid image of the Ear taking his place as the judge in court and adds to the humorous effect. Next one, then holding the spectacles up to the court. The word holding create a vivid image of the spectacles being held by the lawyer. Who is the lawyer? Tongue is the lawyer in a court. Next one, designed to sit close to it just like a saddle. So in this line, compares the close fitting design of the spectacle to that of a saddle on a horse, and thus creates a vivid image in the mind of the reader. So यहाँ पर क्या कर रहा है? अलग अलग images create कर रहा है. यहाँ पर जो चश्मे का जो स्पेक्ट का सैडल है उसकी कंपैरिजन किससे की जा रही है? हॉर्स के सैडल से की जा रही है. तो यहाँ पर क्या हो रहा है? डिफरेंट डिफरेंट इमेजेस क्रिएट हो रहे हैं. दैट्स व्हाई दिस लाइन बिलोंग टू द व्हाट? इमेजरी. Next is given that the visage or countenance has not a nose. So here also imagination in this line. What given? The imagination. The above line creates a vivid image of a face without a nose in the mind of the reader. Okay, यहाँ पर क्या दिया जा रहा है? Without nose के different type of faces दिखाए जा रहे हैं, images उसके create किए जा रहे हैं. That's why this line also belong to the imagery. Next one, so his lordship decreed with a grave solemn tone. So in this line creates a vivid image of the ear, that is lordship, passing the judgment in a serious tone and add to the humorous. Next one, that whenever the nose put his spectacles on. In this line bring to a mind different type of images of the nose wearing the spectacle. Next one is given by daylight or candlelight. Eyes should be shut. And this line what create? This line create an image of the eyes being closed through the day and night and being out of the humorous nature of the final verdict delivered. After completing the imaginary figure of speech, let's start the personification figure of speech. So first of all we have to come to know what is the definition of personification. When in a poetic line a thing is given the human quality, then that poetic line is belong to the figure of speech personification. See the example. So Tongue was the lawyer and argued the case. So here what? Tongue is given the human quality of arguing, and that's why this line belong to the figure of speech personification. Next one, while Chief Baron Ear said to balance the law. So here what? Ear is given what? He is given the human quality of judging, or he become a judge and he have to give the decision. So here Ear has been personalized as a powerful person. Here, one who balances the laws means a judge, and hence the ear has also been personified as the judge, and that's why this line also belongs to the figure of speech personification. Next one, so famed for his talent is nicely discerning. This line also belongs to the figure of speech personification. Reason is given, the ear has been personified through the use of the male pronoun his and given the human quality, or we can say animate quality of being discerning. Next one, and your lordship, he said, will undoubtedly find. Here ear what's lordship. So here the ear has been personified through the use of the male pronoun he, and that's why this line also belongs to the figure of speech personification. Next is, then holding the spectacles up to the court. This line also belongs to the figure of speech personification. Reason is given, the tongue has been given the human quality of holding the spectacles. Next one, your lordship, observe, they are made with a straddle. Here the ear has been given the human quality of observing, and that's why this line also belongs to the figure of speech personification. Next one, again would your lordship a moment suppose. Here the ear has been given the human quality of supposing, and that's why this line also belongs to the figure of speech personification. Next one, then shifting his size as a lawyer knows how. Here tongue has been personified through the use of the male pronoun his, and that's why this line belongs to the figure of speech personification. Next one, he pleaded again in behalf of the eyes. Here tongue has been given the human quality of pleading, and that's why this line belongs to the figure of speech personification. Next one, but what were his argument few people know. Here the tongue as a lawyer has been personified through the use of the male pronoun his, and that's why this line belongs to the figure of speech personification. See, his here uses. Next one, so his lordship decreed with a grave solemn tone. In this line the ear has been given the human quality of decreeing in a serious tone, and that's why this line belongs to the figure of speech personification. Next one, that whenever the nose put his spectacles on. This line also belongs to the figure of speech personification. Reason given, the nose has been personified through the use of the male pronoun his. So in this way, here we completed the example of personification figure of speech. So next question we will start. Next question is appreciation of the poem. Write the appreciation of the poem. This type of question in your exam, and the point should be asked what point you have to include in the answer. First one, about the poem, poet and title you have to write. Then you have to write the theme of the poem, already I taught. Then poetic device, language, style. Then we have to write the special feature, novelties, focusing elements, values, and what message you will get from the poem. Next one, you have to put your opinion about the poem. See, answer I given, and you should add your own ideas in answer. The poem Nose vs. Eyes, written by William Cowper, is a satirical take on the judiciary. The theme dwells on the proceeding of a court where judgment is passed without carefully consideration. The rhyme scheme of the poem is ABAB and provides a song-like flow to the poem. The notable feature of the poem are the use of the imagery, simile, personification, inversion. While inversion has been used to maintain the rhyme scheme and to poetic effect. Imagery helps to paint a vivid picture of the court, setting in the mind of the readers. The highlights of the poem is the personification of the eyes, nose, and the tongue. The characters assigned to each one of them as perfectly fitting and add to the humorous nature of the poem. Though the poem is a mockery of the legal system and message is to highlight the general pitfall of the selective hearing and want the reader to exercise good judgment. The poem also reveals the failure of the legal system in delivering justice. This is particularly obvious in the line, "Then shifting his side, as a lawyer knows how." And what were his arguments? Few people know. The irony of the poem is that the judgment was made in favor of the one who had no use of it, that is the nose. In a court of justice, injustice was served to the eyes. Overall, the poem is funny, but on a closer look, the depth of the poem is revealed. So in this way, we written the appreciation of the poem. So first of all, what I given, पोएम का नाम मैंने लिखा है, फिर किसने लिखा है, विलियम कूपर ने लिखा है, उन्होंने किस टाइप की पोएम लिखी है, ऑलरेडी आई एक्सप्लेन वाइल टीचिंग टाइम. सो ऑन ये सटारिकल पोएम किसके ऊपर है, उन्होंने क्रिटिसाइज किया है जुडिशरी सिस्टम के ऊपर. फिर कौन कौन से कैरेक्टर्स हैं, वो क्या काम कर रहे हैं, कौन कौन से फिगर ऑफ स्पीच यूज किए गए हैं, उनका क्या यूज़ है इस पोएम में उन फिगर ऑफ स्पीच का, कौन सा राइमिंग के लिए यूज किया गया है, किस तरह से यहाँ पर इमेजरी फिगर ऑफ स्पीच यूज की गई है, नोज, आईज, टंग और ईयर को एक इमेज देने के लिए. तो अभी ये किस तरह से ये जो पोएम है क्रिटिसाइज करती है, व्यंग करती है जो हमारी जुडिशरी सिस्टम है उसके ऊपर, फिर अपने विचारों को प्रस्तुत करके ये अप्रिशिएशन ऑफ द पोएम लिखा गया है. सो लेट्स स्टार्ट द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, समरी ऑफ द पोएम. So question will be like that, write a summary of the poem using the following point. First of all, what you have to write, title, then introductory paragraph means about the poem, type, nature and tone. Then we have to write the main body of the poem. In main body में क्या लिखना है आपको, central idea और gist means summary of the poem लिखना है. fourth में क्या लिखना है, conclusion means आपको अपने opinion लिखने हैं, views और क्या अपील करना चाहते हैं वो आपको लिखना है. So let's start the summary of the poem. So first of all I put it see title कहा गया है, तो मेरा first point हो गया Nose Verges Eyes. The title of the poem Nose Verges Eyes clearly described the premises of the poem. It is a dispute between nose and the eyes regarding the ownership of the spectacles. The poem is humorous in nature and is a satirical work mocking the legal system. Though the tone of the poem is sarcastic and funny, a closer analysis reveals its depth. Its aim to highlight the downfalls and analyzing something at fact value without logical analysis. So the poem details the argument between the nose and the eyes by balancing them in a court setting. The tongue, who is appointed as a lawyer, argues both sides without worrying about who is the true owner of the spectacle. It is also clear that ear, chosen as a judge, delivers the verdict in favor of the nose simply on the basis of nonsensical argument and without considering any logic. The irony of his decision in giving the right of ownership to the nose and asking the eyes to remain shut when the nose wearing the is obvious and thus effectively highlights the drawback of the blind justice. The ear and the tongue are both given role that perfectly fit their functions as sensory organs. However, they both behave in a manner opposite to their ideal nature. This brings out the poet's message that people should use their senses in the right manner and thus exercise carefully listening and good judgment. On the whole, the poem is delightful read and is appealing to the reader due to its ease of understanding and humorous take on the realities of the legal system. Through the use of powerful imagery, the poet successfully convinces the leader to make proper use of his sensory organs. See, next question. Compose 2 lines of your own on any sensory organ. See here written. Answer. Sensitive in nature is the skin, a slab, a bone, or be it a pin. Or we can write, the skin provides cover like a blanket in the cold. Okay, in this way here we are completed our this poem. So in this lecture we solved icebreakers, we learned figure of speech, and then afterwards we learned appreciation of the poem. Next we learned the summary of the poem, and last that question we learned, that is compose 2 lines of your own on any sensory organ. So these all things whatever given by me regarding this poem, they are very important. So you have to this all figure of speech, all whatever notes I given, that you have to complete in your English notebook. Thank you children. We will meet in our next lecture.